Hello, and welcome back to another VeeDao AMA. Today is Friday, January 7th. It's 5:30 in the afternoon here in New York City, and we are about to chat it up with our friend Mayra. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm going to open up the stage right now, get everything going. Mayra is Memento Mori Lab, and it's an artist that I'm not super familiar with, but our artist Road to VCon. Hey Sven, would you like to give people a little intro to Mayra? I know that you have much more context on them than I do, and I'm excited to get to know them. If you're speaking, I can't hear. Go ahead.
But I think we should wait another minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the people join.
I see him.
So have you seen the announcement? Of course you have.
I did. Yes. I shared it on Twitter. For those who missed it, Gary V he popped in the Discord, said, should I drop a major announcement right now? And followed up with a video where he explained that VFriend 1 tokens, which confer 3 years access to V Conference, will be able to resell or gift their access to VCon each year by way of an NFT that will be given to all holders per NFT they own. The details of how they're going to verify people at the door and whether it's 721 or 1155 or what have you are to be announced. But there will be an NFT, and you do not have to burn it. You'll get to keep it as a collectible, which I think is a super smart move on their part. Big news.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Moral Monkey Mob winners get the actual NFT and can keep it, or if we have to send it back to Marcelo after VCon, because that wasn't really a part of the giveaway. So I'm wondering how this plays out.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that's up to Marcelo. At the end of the day, it would seem like he's going to have to send you the ticket anyway. And so it's going to be a matter of trust that you send it back if he wants you to. But I imagine, he's leaving a little money on the table, but that, he's already doing that. So it's anybody's guess.
Yeah. So I was trying to get Mayra in, but I can't find her.
I invited her to speak, but I don't know. Mayra, you should have an invitation.
Oh yeah.
And is it Mayra or Mayra? Do you know, Sven? I can ask her.
As far as I know, it's Mayra.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Great. I'm good. And you guys?
Doing good. You, Sven?
It's Mayra. You got it right.
Okay, great. And do you also use she, her pronouns?
Yes, she, her.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for taking the time, and obviously, thank you for being a part of our collection. I would love to just go to the origin of, like, hear about you as a person. Like, how did you find art? What is your medium? What do you do? And then we can sort of dive into NFTs, and I'm sure what a wild journey that was. But I'd love to just hear a little bit about you and how long you've been an artist.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. And I love that I'm a part of VeeDao and that I was able to create one for the collection. And I started, so I'm from Brazil originally, and I live in Canada at the moment. And me and my wife, we moved here 5 years ago this month.
Okay.
And I've been creating sort of my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, I can remember myself drawing, and I would have tons and tons of drawings like all around my room. And I would draw all kinds of things. Like if I watched something like a cartoon, I would copy the cartoon characters and all day, every day, I would be doing something artistic, not always necessarily just drawing. I would like try everything. But I think throughout my life, I sort of believed that, you know, you couldn't really, well, I was taught sort of that you couldn't really make a living as being an artist.
Right.
So it kind of pushed me to like, okay, so I need to find whatever else that I can do that I can have like a stability in life. So I went to sort of like a parallel. I went to design and I became a graphic designer and a marketing professional, and that's where I work my 9 to 5. But the dream obviously is to become like a full-time artist and focus solely on that.
Amazing. And when did NFTs cross your radar?
Oh, definitely because of Gary Vee. I followed him for years. And every time like he would say something, you know, about creating content, I always wanted to do that, but I was never really sure what to do exactly. And then the pandemic started. I started creating a little bit of content with my art because that's when I sort of got back in touch with it. I started drawing on my iPad, and then I thought, okay, maybe I could post these things that I'm creating on Instagram. And then obviously, like I was already following Gary Vee, so I was kind of like trying to find different ways that I could, you know, sort of document that process and everything. And he was talking about NFTs, I think for like since he mentioned it like January or maybe even before, but then later on he started talking about it more, right?
Yes. And will you share with everyone your Tea with Gary Vee experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was actually watching that show. I watched you live in that day. I remember.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super nervous, but it was fun. Like I think at the moment of it, you kind of like you're so nervous for the whole thing because obviously like I think there were like 5,000 people watching or whatever. So I was super nervous and I couldn't even really internalize what he was saying to me. But then later on I watched it. Obviously I don't like most people, I don't like watching myself, so that was like cringy, but watching it back, you know, but watching it back was sort of like, oh, okay, I think I sort of got more of what he meant, you know. And it was amazing. It was an amazing experience overall. Like the team, because you wait backstage a little bit, and everyone like seemed super nice, and it was like so lucky that they chose me to participate. It was fun.
And what was like your number one takeaway, you think? After you like had honestly, a chance to review.
So after I watched it back, because after it was over, I was just like kind of overwhelmed with everything. And I think a couple of people started following me on Instagram and they reached out to me and said, oh, I saw it on Gary Vee and it was great. And actually I like made a couple of friends because of that, which was fun. And then I think when I watch it back, my takeaway is he said like what I got from it when he said was that he always says like, oh, do what you're good at, you know, like focus on your strengths and all of that. But then in that conversation, he said there are some things that I'm not good at, but I try really hard to get better at. That was always my struggle, right? Is to me, the creating art part is the best and part that I completely lose myself. But then the marketing, quote unquote, and the community building and the talking to people, I can do that sort of okay, but not consistently okay, you know? And that to me was like, it's something that I'm trying to be better at, but it's very hard for me. But the takeaway for me on that conversation was like, you do it, you try to do it as best as you can, but like don't let that hold you back. You know, it's going to be slower, probably your journey is going to take more time to get where you want to get, but just stay at it, you know. I think that was my takeaway from what he said to me.
I love that. And so what did you do? Like, what is your, I always find this to be a very interesting question. Like, how do you maintain consistency when in a world where like there's a lot of expectations on creators to, you know, be on all the time? I think the pandemic sort of pulled back that curtain a little bit, that like we do really need more balance, and that different balance is right for different people. But regardless of if it's once a day or once a month or what have you, like consistency really does seem to be the magic sauce for artists, right? Like look at Beeple, for example. Like he's kind of an extreme case considering that he's now the third most highest priced artist in the world, but but he did that every single day for something like 18 or 19 years. So so to bring it to you, like what are the things that you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis to be consistent for yourself and for your supporters?
I feel like I've noticed that I've tried to be consistent for a long time with one or two things, but what happens to me, I'm realizing now, is more of like cycles of things. So, for example, we might have like 4 or 5 days, like in 1 week, that I'm going to draw a lot of things because I'm going to have like a ton of momentum building and I'm going to do a lot. But then I feel like it goes down a bit, and it's sort of like after those days of creating a lot, I will spend a few days not doing as much, or probably not doing very little, like doing just like some scribbles here and there, and not so much focused on creating like final pieces. And I noticed that with everything in my life, like the only thing I think I'm more consistent is with my workout routines, because that's like a mental health thing.
Nice.
But I think overall, I work in cycles, and then I'm trying to be, even when in the lowest days, I'm trying to still do something, but not be so hard on myself as to where that needs to go, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Could you talk to that a little bit further? When you say that, I think judgment, right? Like I struggle with this all the time. Please go.
Yeah. I feel like artists and people in general, but I would say artists because we're trying to, some artists are full-time artists, others are trying to make that their quote unquote full-time job, right? So I think we judge ourselves a lot in the sense that we cannot allow ourselves to stop, because otherwise it means we don't want it bad enough and we're not going to get it. Or if we're not consistently creating amazing things, then we're not good enough to be artists. I feel like we carry that sort of pressure that maybe we put on ourselves, or somebody, like we feel like somebody said that is the way that it has to be. And I feel like, to me at least, the creative process, like I said, is in a cycle. So there will be times that I will create a lot of things and I'll be like, oh, this is cool, I'm enjoying what I'm creating. Then after that, you come a couple of days that I will create things that I just look at it and I'm like, oh, you know, like I'm not completely happy with how they look, but I'm doing it anyway. I will do it less, and I will try not to be so hard on myself, in the sense that you're not achieving your full potential, or however we want to phrase that. And I do feel like artists struggle with that a lot, like judging ourselves if we're not doing enough all the time. And then on the other hand, we have to create, and we have to be on social media and talk to people and do all these things that, you know, it's just like we can do what we can do. At some point, we need to understand that if it's too much at some point, we can take it slower. It's going to be okay either way, you know?
Yeah. So often artists are their own worst enemies, you know, with the self-judgment. Or something that I really learned from Gary was, don't say no for the audience. Like, let them tell you if it's good or bad. But so many great musical songs, like like drafts, in progress works, they just never get appreciated or never get the chance to be appreciated because of high standards. And like, I think, you know, that's like sort of pulling at both ends, right? Like having standards for yourself, like knowing where you're at in the cycle, but like simultaneously knowing that like your art is meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be whatever it is for you. You know, if you're trying to strike fear or inspire awe or like warm the hearts of whoever's viewing your work, like I truly think that art should elicit a response. And like if you don't give the audience a chance to respond, then you're doing a disservice to yourself. I would say.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think also on that note, like we need to realize that's something that I've been working on ever since I started like posting more of my stuff on social media, is that we need to be okay with quote unquote bad art, because like there's really no such thing, because like you said, the audience will judge, and what many people won't like, other people will love. And then if you are the one gatekeeping yourself in a sense, and you're the one, oh, I don't want people to see this because they're going to think that I am not talented, or whatever it is, you know, that we think people start to think about when they see our art. Then, like you said, like we are robbing them of an experience. They might not like it, really. They might not relate to it in any way, but there might be one person that looks at it and likes it. And that's something that the NFT world can show you really well, because there are a lot of things that some people say, oh, how can somebody like something like this? But then you look at the community and there's a bunch of people that love it, you know? So it's like, who are we to judge, you know, what's good or what is bad, really?
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk about Memento Mori. So is this a concept is this a concept that's been following you around, or was it an old idea that became something new? Like, give us the origin of Memento Mori. Is it an NFT space creation, or was it a name that you were using prior? What was it?
So Memento Mori is something that I've learned about. Like it reminds us that we are going to die, right? It's
Right,
about our
remember death.
mortality.
Yes.
And I think I've always thought about mortality a lot. I've always been like, in a way, afraid of dying, not because of death itself, but because I would regret a lot of things, and I would regret not doing things, you know, which is something Gary talks a lot about as well. And I think I came to this concept a while back when I saw some things about Stoicism, and I started reading a bit about the Memento Mori mentality behind it, and how it can be positive for you to think about mortality, because it sort of pushes you to try things and experience things, even though you might be afraid of them, right? And when I came back to art, which was like right after the pandemic, it felt like a right concept to me. It just came to my head like, oh yeah, it's Memento Mori is why I need to do this, because the pandemic sort of, you know, woken up that side of me that I could die at any moment, and I need to do this now. I need to get back into my art. So I started writing poetry and writing a lot of things, and then drawing, and Memento Mori was just like that sort of feeling of, okay, this is why I need to do this. And then Memento Mori Lab was just because I didn't want to pin down, oh, this is like a poetry thing, or this is like a drawing thing. I want this to be a place where I can experiment, and I can do art in whatever form that it comes to me. So that was sort of the idea. And then Memento Mori Lab just made sense. And then the whole NFT thing started, and I was like, oh, perfect. It's already my name. So I'll put that on everything.
That's lovely. I personally appreciate that, because like everything is kind of an experiment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which actually maybe leads me to a good question. You know, my background is as an improviser and an artist, a physical actor. So a lot of my work, I don't know what I'm making until I'm making it. I would make these
I love that.
masks and like, I was curious. I kind of thought maybe you were in that direction. I mean, you can obviously do both, but I feel like artists tend to either like have a very clear vision and then work like Michelangelo, right? Revealing the sculpture that is already there, or it's like more of a conversation and like an interaction with the material, like in the moment that leads you to the thing. Do you fall in either one of those, or do you blend? How does that land on you?
First of all, I love that you're an improv artist because I think that's amazing. I did a little bit of that, just like classes and stuff, and I absolutely think it's a wonderful way to like get creative and experience creativity in a whole new way.
Yes.
And I do think I blend both because I do have like a list of probably hundreds of ideas of illustrations that I want to do, videos that I might one day write a script for that I would like to maybe shoot or do something related to that. So I do have an endless list of things that I will refer back every now and then to create something.
Yes.
Then sometimes I sit down and I just draw whatever comes to mind. And I think that's how the first Cubist sort of happened.
Oh,
I was just
nice
sitting
segue.
down,
I
sketching.
literally
Yeah.
just put your link into the chat to the
Cool.
Cubists. Yeah.
So the first one, which is kind of similar to my PFP there, but it's not exactly the same, but it reminds me of that one. But the first one I created, I was just sitting down, sketching. I started doing lines on the iPad and just lines, and then I erase them. I'd start another one, and then I just go with that. And sometimes I create layer above layer above layer with different things, and I go on and on for like an hour, and nothing comes of it. And then this one day, just like drawing like that, the Cubist sort of showed up. And I painted it and I thought, oh, actually, this looks weird and cool. And I think it sort of represents me in a way. And then I started doing a bunch of them. But it was sort of like, you could say it was an improv. So that happened.
Right. It was an invention. It was a discovery.
Yeah, totally. I think a discovery is a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in a lab, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Nice way to bring it back.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but is this style in the Cubist, would you say that this is your style, or is or maybe a better question is like, how would you describe your work? What genre does it fall into? And is that what you're going for, or is it, or I guess do people perceive it as in the genre you're intending for, or does none of that matter to you?
I think it brings out traces of Cubism, which is where the name came from, obviously, and there are some influences there, but for sure it's not what you would see if you go to a Cubist exhibition. I don't think. But I do think that people see that as sort of my style. But this, I would say, is just one of my experiments. And it's one of the ways that I do really like to express myself. And I think if you look, for example, it's funny that you asked that, because I've always thought, okay, for you to be quote unquote a real artist, people will go to your Instagram and everything needs to look sort of the same because you have one style. But then the more I think about it, like, I do not have that. And it doesn't make me any less of an artist because of that, you know? But in my mind at first, it was like, oh, damn, I need to find like one style and just focus on that. But that's not me. It's just not part of who I am. And there are many artists that if you look, they are like multidisciplinary artists and they do many different things. So I like to do many different kinds of drawings. And I think what ties them together would be me, obviously, but it would be my sort of intent behind it and the idea behind it, which is always like a little bit of a depressingly funny kind of thing. That's what I go for sometimes, because I think it's meant to make people feel happy because of the colors or because of something that it says, but also to hopefully get them feel like they can relate. So like they are not alone, you know? So that's the hope behind what I do, regardless of how the drawing actually looks. If I do something like more black and white or color or a different style of the character, for example, the hope is always that people can relate and feel like I get them or they get me, and there's that connection.
Nice. I love that what you're going for revolves around what you want the artist to, or what you want the audience to feel, as opposed to a style or something else. That's really great in my eyes.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to dig in a little further to something you said about being a real artist. I see a lot of, I don't want to speak negatively about like, I just see a lot of judgment, I guess, of artists of either a traditional training or classical training, looking at the NFT space as the whole sometimes, you know, digital artists at times, which I find a bit ironic because, like you said, like this is something that emerges in cycles. Like they said the same thing about Picasso, and like that's actually true. You know, Picasso is often used as like an anchor of like, oh, you're the next Picasso, or like, what about Picasso? But like that's actually true. People didn't really love his style in his time, and humans tend to be very judgmental of things that they don't understand, things that are new. But the notion of being a real artist is slightly different, right? Because there's I would say a big element that is self-identification. Like your criteria for being a real artist were something that you mostly imposed on yourself. By the way, I heard you phrase it, and like, please correct me. And I just wonder, what to ask you a really Pandora's box question, like, what is a real artist?
Yeah. So for the first part that you mentioned, I do agree that people that had some sort of classical training, and many classical traditional artists can be very judgmental of the NFT space. And I feel like you're right on point there, because it's just a breakthrough. Like it's a shift in the paradigm of art, and that is not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing that happens throughout history. It always happened. Like you said, Picasso, and then there were all the avant-garde movements. They all broke a barrier that art before was something, and then it became something more and became something else. And then if you go like to conceptual art, there's even more quote unquote weird stuff happening that it's like, okay, but why is this art? And it's just a matter of like, it's really a matter of a mix of intent and what's really happening, if it's making people think or if it's bringing some sort of feeling towards people or something like that. And there are always many different ways to see art and to make art. And traditional artists, one day they will have to accept that like it's a changing world, you know. And that's what always happens.
I mean, the real reason I'm asking you... Oh, no, please finish. Please finish.
Go ahead.
Well, the reason that I'm asking you is, and I encounter this when I teach a lot, and I imagine it's true for a lot of people in the audience, that they view other art that is perhaps more refined, where you can see, you know, a sort of an amount of time has been put into like refining a skill, and think that makes wherever they are in the process not real somehow. That and I'm just a big advocate that like, if you paint, you're a painter, and if you sing, you're a singer, and like the art should not be like there is something to like being a professional artist and making a living for an artist, and that's definitely something to be it's something to strive for. But at the same time, you don't have to ever make a penny from your art to be an artist. And I kind of want to just drive that point home to the audience. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think part of the issue obviously is because other professions, they are like, if you go to medical school, like, and you get a degree and you pass the whatever you need to pass, I don't know, but you become a doctor, and then you can say, I'm a doctor. There's no oh, I'm sort of a doctor, or oh, I'm a doctor on the weekends.
Yes.
And with art, obviously, it's not that simple. Like I often say that, in art, 2 + 2 = anything, because it's not really, it's nothing straightforward. It's all subjective. And like you said, if you're a painter, if you paint, you're a painter. Like,
yes,
it's hard for us to accept that to ourselves, because like we said here, there are always these boxes that you want to tick, right? Oh, for me to be an artist, I need to sell my work. But then you sell your work, and then you're like, no. For me to be a real artist, I need to be a full-time artist. And then we start creating all these barriers, when in fact, the fact that you make art makes you an artist. Whatever that art is, it might take you 10 minutes, it might take you 1 year. Both of those art pieces have value, and they have different values, and it's not related to the time spent on them. It's related to how people will feel about them. It's related to how the audience responds, and it's related to a lot of things, not just one thing. Because that's not how art works, And
it can also be a conversation you're having with yourself. There's a reason there's a whole industry of art therapy. It really is a powerful tool for just, processing many kind of things.
Absolutely. That's why I like to say as well that art is for everyone, like creativity and expressing yourself in different ways. It doesn't have to be just for the people that you look and say, oh, they're good at that. You can grab a pencil and draw something, scribble something somewhere. If that makes you feel good.
Yes.
And why wouldn't you,
Absolutely. Fun. What else, Mayra? We do have plenty of time for questions. So if somebody in the audience wants to ask a question of Mayra, please do keep it on topic. And there will be a POAP for this event, so I'm told. We're gonna subscribe to a new protocol, which is the number one rule of POAP is don't talk about the POAP. So you will notice that actually at the top of the server, we've moved it around a bit, so stick with me, folks. At the top of the server, there is a request POAP channel, which you should be able to see, but not write in. And for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to allow you to write there. Please don't use your ENS address. Use your full numerical, alphanumerical address, and give us a couple days, and we'll get a POAP claim link out for this AMA as a thank you for attending. So the channel should be writable now, and you can do that. And please do, if anyone has a question for Mayra, request, or if you'd like, you can also use the voice channel text just above the stage. I'm reading there. Wonderful. What are you looking forward to, Mayra? Maybe this is a New Year's resolution question, but maybe this is just like, what's got you curious in the space right now?
That's a good question. What's got me curious? I think one thing I'm really excited about is because my collection right now, the Cubist, I have I think 60 items or something. And I really made a goal because this is an ongoing thing, and it's going to be something that I plan on adding new ones for a long time. But I think I'm really looking forward to hitting the first 100 items. Because it was sort of something in my head that oh
no, someone bought the one I was looking at. Curious just, how dare you? Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just something in my mind, because I do I've been in the space like since VeeFriends, and well, I was in VeeFriends. Then for a couple of months, I didn't read anything about anything NFT, and then I jumped in back in again, and it's just it will be like a personal milestone for me. But for the space as a whole, I'm really excited to see a lot of the projects that started last year. They are starting to hit different points in their roadmap, the ones that are actually delivering what they promised, right?
Yes.
There are a few projects that I can see that they've been working really hard for a lot of months, and now they are starting to deliver on the things. And I'm really excited to see what happens next, because it's like, it's not what I thought about at first, because at first I thought, oh, NFTs are the beginning and the end, you know what I mean? But obviously not. Like, it's just the beginning for so many great things that can happen, and VeeDao is one example. And like NFT World, that I have a couple, and then other projects as well that I can see. I Curious Eddies is another one as well, because they are building their app and everything, and now I can see things really happening, which is a result of people believing in that idea, you know. And I think that's so amazing to actually see it happening. And it's not just about the quick flip or the investment that you're going to make money. Obviously, that's all great. But it's also about seeing the ideas become real. And I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm looking forward to one day maybe having my own sort of project or something related to a community style thing. But that will be like way down the road. I'm excited for the space as a whole. It's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if you could speak to that a little bit. It sounds like you're a one-woman show. Is that true?
I'm a two-woman show, because I have my wife, and she helps me with absolutely everything.
Oh, that's
I cannot function without her.
So, I mean, but talk about that more. I mean, there's a lot of platforms, there's a lot of opportunities, you know, and as you said, like, you're participating in other projects. It's not like you're only head down on yours, and I think that's awesome, because you're picking up the best from all projects as you work sort of the long road to building your community. And it can be a lot. So how is it going, and what have you learned?
It's definitely, it can be a lot. I think that's like, even when I talked to Gary Vee on Tea with Gary Vee, that was sort of my point, was that I struggle a bit with the communication part, as in staying consistently active on Discord, as I think people have seen. Like, I'm not the most consistently active, but I try. Like, what I'm doing is, like, I try my best. But then my wife, she monitors all our discords and projects, and then when she sees something that she thinks, oh, this is interesting for you, or maybe you should talk to this person, because she might be able to sort of identify with you, and you can help each other, or it would be good for her to hear from you. So then I would try to talk to people in that way, or she would say, or my wife says something like, oh, this person did this, and I think it's pretty cool. We want to have a look. And then I would go in and have a look. So she really helps me in that sense, because
That's
I'm
cool.
very, I have a real challenge of like time management with all of these things. And then I do like my art, obviously, and I try to do the best that I can on social media. I'm horrible at Twitter still, but I'm still trying to get better. And I'm trying to think of different things that I can do that are sort of more in my alley. And then the monitoring thing and keeping up with all the announcements, I'm not that good. So she helps me out a lot with that. And she researches projects that we think like could be interesting, all those kinds of things. And then now I'm even I'm always looking to create more stuff, and I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna start like a YouTube channel or something like that. But we'll see. It's just an idea for now, but it might happen. We'll see.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a lot of pressure to feel like the start of something, and yet we don't have to take on that pressure, you know? So what if you start a YouTube channel and you post once and never again? It's okay.
Yeah, like you should at least give it a try, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I can see you have some new fans because the Cubist I just tried to buy failed. So congratulations to someone.
Yay, thank you.
That's
thank
great.
you.
No, I really am a fan. And I get the sense, I think you and I, maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just bonding with you over poor time management skills, because I feel like I'm all over the place in that regard. Like, I even sat down with my wife and was like, you're good at making a calendar. Can you just make me a calendar and then I'll stick to it? And of course I didn't. Like, I have like a nice calendar now, but am I doing those things at those times? Hardly ever. If it is, it's a coincidence.
But I will say though, you're very good like on social media and stuff, because I always see like you're always posting content and you're always helping people, like making like going live and giving people the updates, you know. So you do that very well, and I think that's something like to speak for, because we cannot do everything well, you know. And if you're doing a few things well, then you're winning here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's totally about forgiving yourself for your weaknesses and leaning into your strengths. Like, I'm happy to go live and talk about something, even if it's not a fully formed idea, and stutter and sound like a fool at times. But ask me to schedule something a week from now, and I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, I
nervous.
think that's a good point to hit. Like, if you're an artist or not, or trying to create content or trying to help people, we need to always go back to the fact that, like, we need to forgive ourselves and not judge ourselves for not excelling at everything, you know. If you're doing one or two things well, then, you know, maybe that's good enough. The other things you're trying, it's not like you're like not even trying. You're trying, but maybe you're not there yet to be good enough at them, you know.
And you know, competency in certain things like certainly matters too. But like Gary rings in my head, like, if you're not good at something, hire for it, right? And that's great advice, but it's tough to jump into something like that. You know, I think I've considered it at times, and you know, things doing anything for the first time, you're bound to make mistakes, and it can be scary to put your money on the line for something that you don't know. You have to let go of control. Like, I was talking with someone about getting a virtual assistant, and one of the pieces of advice they gave me, which like really resonated and I've held on to, is that anything that you delegate removes your soul from that thing. And I think that's really powerful. So I'm not
absolutely
exactly sure.
And I think because we also spend a lot of time thinking about the things that we are maybe not as good at, because we know that it's going to be harder for us to do, and then all the time that we spend thinking about that thing, plus the time we spend on actually trying to do that thing, it's time that could be better spent somewhere else. But then again, obviously, you will need to know, like Gary said to me in that interview, in that tea thing, he said, like, you need to know at least a little bit of it, right? Even if you want to hire someone, you will need to understand like all the basics of it, so then you can know that the person is doing a good job, and then you can be like finally free.
Yes, words of wisdom. I'm surprised I haven't seen any questions. I'd love to hear from people in the audience, either in the voice channels text, or if you want to come up to the stage. I don't know, Sven, do you have any questions you want to ask Mayra?
Sorry, I was just looking at OpenSea to get another Cubist.
Don't let the FOMO hit. Buy it if you love it.
I have no, yeah. No, I don't have a question at the moment. Yeah, I discovered Mayra a few months ago. I think way before the Road to VCon things started. I think I discovered her with my old Instagram account, if I remember right. And the first thing I saw were the balloons that
Yeah.
look like aliens, and I love them. And I also love the stories you made, where you put some old paintings and put text in it.
Oh
So
yeah, I used to do that on weekends.
yeah, the humor was awesome. It's just my kind of humor.
Oh, thank you. I always think no one is reading those things, but I do have a good time. I do have a good time creating those things, and I laugh like with myself. So I'm glad that you laugh too.
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe that's an interesting transition. I'm going to check the text chat. Oh, here's a question. Good. Do you plan to bring a bigger collection ever? So you mentioned that you're adding to this collection as is, but do you envision a larger collection?
Yeah, I do have ideas for one day creating like a collection of generative art. That would be a larger one. But like nothing is planned yet. It's just something that I think it would be fun for me as a lab to experiment. And I think
Absolutely.
it could be something that would help like bring a community of people that are in the same sort of creative journey, that are trying, to be more creative and experiment. And I think that would be a community thing. But that would be far down the road, I think. But even the Cubist, I plan on having like one day. It could take me years, but the goal would be to have 1,989. That
Is
could
that your
probably
birth
take me
year?
years. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I do also want to maybe create other collections with like because like I said, like I like to try different things, and I'm planning on creating like sort of random collections with different pieces of art that not necessarily fall into the cubist category or something specific.
Yeah. Because I feel like we kind of brushed over it. What is the value of, you kind of mentioned like a brush up to stoicism, and I have a little experience with that as well. So I could put this in my own words, but in your words, what is the value in remembering death?
For me, what it helps me is it helps me realize that first of all, nothing or almost nothing is as important as we think it is, meaning nothing matters as much as we think it does, because we are eventually going to die. And the fact that we even like what I struggled before, oh, I'm afraid to go on video and say something stupid, right? Does that really matter in the scope of things? If my intention and my idea behind it is good, and I'm trying to do something that I believe in, why would that be so bad, even if I maybe don't do it as well as I thought I would? Or if I even screw up really bad one time, maybe that's not as relevant as we think it is. So mortality can sort of ground you to what really matters, which is your life and the people you love, their lives. Everything else is not as important. So that's the one thing for me that really strikes a chord. And the fact that I don't want to die with any regrets. And I think I was going down a path that I would have a lot of regrets and not like really trying to pursue my art. Which right now, the worst thing that could happen is, oh, maybe I will always have a 9-to-5 job, but I'm still creating my art. and I'm still like making these connections, and people are buying my art because they like my work, and they resonate with it somehow, and that to me means everything. So even then, at least I'm not going to regret not trying.
Great answer. Fantastic answer. Crypto Goods, I want to go to you in just a second. I'd just like to ask on behalf of Shay. This is the fourth time I've said their name wrong. Shay wants to know, what brush do you use in Procreate mostly?
So yeah, it depends on what I'm doing. For the Cubist, I have like a square brush, which is, I don't know the name, but it's kind of like a is it marquee, the name of like a pen?
Or a marker?
Yeah, like a marker. So it's like a square marker.
Square tip marker, okay.
I play around with the opacity of it a little bit, so then the strokes might not be as strong, or it might look like it's painted like layer on layer.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just like a square brush.
Awesome.
Sorry, I don't know the name. Shay. I'm sorry. I can look it up later, but it's just a square brush. It's like very random. And I also use a lot of the brushes that came with Procreate, like the pencil ones and the inking ones. I use them as they come.
Awesome. Crypto Goods, go ahead, take it away.
You got it. Thanks for calling me up, and apologies for sniping.
Oh no,
the one
good.
that you're after there, Jeremy.
You're good.
Yeah, I picked up 48. I was after 44, and somebody got that before me. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayra, great to speak with you, and definitely a fan of Cubism, and definitely a fan of Cubists at this point. My question is there any Cubism artist that precedes you that is an inspiration to what you do now? And apologies if you've already answered that question.
Oh, not at all. Thank you so much for picking up one, and for the compliments. Yeah, like for me, I've always liked, my favorite subject in college was art history. And Picasso, I know it's cliche, but I studied a lot of his work, and the shift that it has to happen in someone's mind to just start creating like he did is just amazing to me. And that was one of the points where it started. But then there are obviously other artists currently, like Gabe Weiss. He's in NFTs as well. There's also an artist called So Curry Art, I think. She's also a great artist, and she has NFT collections as well. They all have work that somewhat brings out those elements. And I think, to me, there's a mix, because people already said that to me one time, and it got me thinking, and I can see through my cubists that there is that element of Picasso and that sort of feel of the cubism. There's also this kind of cartoony kind of thing, which I loved as a kid. And I loved trying to imitate the cartoons and trying to copy all of them to see if I could make it look exactly like the cartoon. And I think there is that element of that graphic cartoon kind of thing. So I think in this collection, it sort of mixes the both, and it brings out this artsy side, but also this childlike thing, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Great. OX.
And I'm happy to see you're a fellow dino.
Oh yeah.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Save the dinos. Stack that.
Yes.
We're all dinos up here. Sven, do you have a dino?
No, I don't.
All right. Well,
now's the time, buddy.
It was nice knowing you, Sven. Now it's a dino stage. I'm just kidding, Sven. Come up whenever you want. It was just for comedic effect. We have a friend here. OXDSA says your voice is very soothing, Mayra.
Oh, thank you. I used to hate my voice, and then for some reason I decided to do a podcast. I did a few episodes and another person said the same thing and I was horrified because I couldn't believe it. But I guess
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you, and I should be kinder to myself maybe.
Wow. Well, we're coming to the end of our time. In a moment, I will reopen the Never to Be Mentioned POAP channel. And also, Gary V just started a Q&A in the V Friends Discord, so I want to make space for that as well. And I just want to thank you, Mayra. I mean, this was really lovely. In closing, I'd love to hear a little bit about the piece that you did for the VeeDao. Does this character have a name? And what does the light bulb imagery mean for you? I'd love to, if you could just give us a little more context on that piece. I think we might have some holders in the room actually.
So you about the piece of the light bulb, or about the piece that it's
Or
the one
does it have a
for
light bulb?
VeeDao?
I was trying the one for VeeDao. I in my mind it has a light
So
bulb.
the
but
one
maybe
for
not.
there's one that has a light bulb, but I think you bought that one, right?
I tried. I
someone bought
lost it. I missed it.
Okay.
Curious,
I was
curious about it.
curious about it. Yeah.
Right.
If not, I wouldn't have. Yeah, I would have bought it.
No, for the one for VeeDao, the idea behind it, I didn't name the character. I leave that open to anyone who wants to give it a name.
Nice.
But the idea is that you can find that in the background there's written patience all around it. And the character is holding a clock, which is a melting clock, like a little bit of a...
That's right.
Alluding to Salvador Dali. And also to the fact that for our mortality. And I think it sort of forms like a little skull if you look at it closely. And the clock, really small, it says, you've got time, which is something that Gary Vee says. So it's the
Yeah.
opposite of you're going to die, because I think that paradox of having both thoughts at once is where we find like the sweet spot to live our lives, you know. And it's hard. Like I struggle with that a lot, but at times I feel like when I find that moment in time, it's a very special time. So that's why I wanted to do both. Like the time is melting and it's like escaping through your fingers, but at the same time, you still got time to do something about it.
Yes.
And then at the bottom, in the melted clock liquid there's a little fly, a little acknowledgement to the you're gonna die fly, but not a representation of it. It's just a nod to it, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. Like, and the character has like the 5 up, just
Yes.
another little nod.
Ah, so many awesome Easter eggs.
Yeah, but that the whole idea is basically patience, but at the same time, remember that you're gonna die. You've got time, but you need to do something about it.
Love it. I'm gonna put your Twitter handle in the chat for folks so they can follow you. Is there anything else that you want to direct them to in the way of just supporting you and your artwork and what you're creating?
I'm sure. I also post a lot of. I'm better on Instagram than Twitter, I'll be honest. Like I do
Okay.
post some things on Twitter, but on Instagram you can see like sometimes I post stories with some sketches that I'm working on and different things, and the things that I maybe might not post on the feed, they also show up on my stories every now and then. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity. It's been amazing and very nice to see a lot of people here showing up. And I'm so happy to be a part of VeeDao. And I think the future is very bright for this community for sure.
Thank you so much. I feel the same way. I feel so blessed that Sven brought you in. It's a wonderful piece, and I love knowing all the details about it now. I don't know if Sven knew all of those Easter eggs, but it's so cool to have like a true fan of Gary Vee contribute to the collection that way. It's so cool.
Oh, for sure. I was stoked when Sven talked to me about it. And I wasn't even sure what was going to happen exactly with the piece, but I was just excited to. And then I realized, oh, yeah, okay, of course, it's part of the collection. But I was just really excited to create something with these little like Easter eggs for people that really like Gary Vee, but also if you don't like him as much, or if you're not like as into all the things, the piece still has like this message and this thing behind it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I just shared.
and
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sven.
yeah, I just wanted to say it was very important for me to bring you on, because I think you're really, 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 really underrated at the moment, and I think you definitely you need more exposure.
Oh,
So you
thank you,
deserve it.
Sven.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means
100%.
a lot.
The last thing I want to say is you can go to the POAP Claim channel and drop your full alphanumeric address. Please don't use your ENS. Use your full address for the next 60 seconds only. Appreciate you all being here. Really nice crowd today. 150 folks in the room. If I could just be so audacious as to suggest that when we do the next one of these, that you invite a friend. We're still building this community. We've got a lot of great people in the mix, and we're looking for more. Our project is minting. You might get super lucky and mint one of Mayra's collaborative works. But otherwise, a token in the project is a vote on our community wallet, and we have a lot of resources in the way of alpha education and just supporting each other that I think are honestly highly underrated, if I'm being completely honest. But more than that, I'm just hopeful that you will tell someone about the experience today and hopefully invite them into the server, because it's a more the merrier situation for us, and we're happy you're here. So thank you for attending. Thank you, Sven, for finding such a gem of an artist, and thank you, Mayra, and thank you for Crypto Goods for asking a great question, and thank you, Mayra, for being so inspired in the way that you are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And like you said, thank you for everyone that is here. And I agree 100%. This is really underrated, because the amount of information that you have in this Discord is like mind-blowing. So I do hope more and more people join, for sure.
Thank you. All right, we'll call it a show. Thank you so much. I'm closing the POAP channel in 3, 2, 1. And thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a great night, everyone. Thanks again to everybody. Bye. What a great show. What a great show. What a great show. We had to do it. Oh, wait, no, I'm in the wrong browser. Hold on. We had to do it. Am I getting audio?
Surprising to like someone. And if not, you can sell it.
Question for you. I want to role play with you on a situation. So I bought, a bunch of cores, and not a bunch of cores, actually. I lied. I don't have a bunch of cores. I have 7 V friends, though. I want to sell one as soon as this news drops, right? As soon as I get my ticket, right? I want to sell the token, the original token, right? Make a bunch of money.
Okay.
But then, because the conference, you know what I mean? It's a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 conference, right? So like,
Okay.
If I can sell my token for 40 grand, and that's really what I wanted to do, go for the token. If I really wanted to go to the conference, because I'm a conference guy, I know you're going to be developing the IP for the characters and the community is going to be building. But what do you think the move is there? Then what if I go ahead and do that flip, and then what's next for a guy like me or anybody else out there that's listening?
Well, what's next in your scenario is you're not going to VCon 2 or 3, right? Because you got your VCon 1 NFT, which will get you there. But if you sell it in in 18 months, when we drop the VCon 2 ticket to the holders, you're not getting that because you sold it. You're only going to
and
one.
then you think because of the conference is going to be a massive success, everyone's going to be trying to get the cores again because they're going to need to get that ticket again, right?
You.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm just trying to.
You want to hear something?
This like blows my mind. I'm trying to think of all the different options.
Big fish. You want to hear something better?
Yeah.
I think in 17 years, nobody even knew that VeeCon happened.
Tell me why.
Because I'm building Disney, and VeeCon was there just to bring extreme value to my audience while they were trying to learn what NFTs were to begin with.
So VeeCon is a success for 3 years. You don't really think you're going to have a bigger and better VeeCon down the road and maybe give us more?
I may. I'm very, I have to see what the market is, but I'll tell you right now, VeeCon will be a small thought of what went down with this project in 10, 15, 20, 30 years.
Okay. All right. I mean, I hear you on that. I just, conferences are, they've been going on for years. So, I mean,
I love conferences. Do you know how much fun these and how insane? Wait till you see Maha and Zach walked me through the confirmed speakers for the next announcement. It was fucking insane. And we didn't even get to the people that are almost done. Like, wait till the next announcement comes in 3 weeks here.
And then wait till the day before when everybody else made their moves. And it's like a day before VeeCon, you say, oh, someone like Tony Robbins is showing up.
I probably won't do anything like so close because of just logistics and
yeah, but then people will be pissed that they missed out because you've already booked Tony, somebody like that, somebody at that level, and everybody's going to be like, wow, what a deal I just got.
How about the fact that people are going to realize, even the people that buy the ticket, I heard somebody say, wait a minute, I wanted the people that had it. Like, the people that come to this conference are going to be the people that everybody here is going to love interacting with. Like, I think people, as insane as the lineup is, wait till you see what happens in the interaction with each other.
Yeah, there's the community hanging out, especially in Minneapolis. I got 9 hotel rooms, man. I'm ready to party.
I love it, brother. We'll talk soon.
See you. All right.
Jay?
So thank you for having me up. Hey, Gary Vee, this is a massive announcement right here. Thanks for dropping that on a random Friday just like that.
No problem. I really think it is too, brother. I think it's the biggest announcement that the project has had.
Yeah, so my question is regarding that, right? I don't think the market has totally understood what this announcement means. And I know they're slowly, maybe they get it, maybe they don't see like the future of collectibles as you do. But when do you think it will, when do you think the market will be able to realize what you've just done?
I have no idea. I think the reality is that there's something in my DNA that just creates an enormous amount of underestimation.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's live with.
And I actually think, to be frank, I create that subconsciously, and I actually think it's now conscious.
Yeah, and let's live with that underestimation, and let's see if the market can catch on to what you have in your mind.
Yeah, to me, what's great about being underestimated is people that believe in you continue to benefit.
Oh, and that's great. I mean, I was so happy to.
Jay, you were in here in November and December. I saw you. Like, these were 7th floor, 7, 8, just chilling. And I was like trying to tell people, I'm like, there's a lot coming.
Yeah, I mean, I got my Heart Trooper at May 11th, right? And I got a second one in one of those times, and the floor was still at like 9 or something.
And the timing right now is insane. I mean, ETH is at $31.95. That's, I mean, this is. Anyway, I can't wait to be hanging out here October of this year, and everyone's talking like, remember on January 7th when we didn't even realize, because I don't think people understand the NFT that I'm going to create as a ticket.
Mm-hmm. I'm just excited to see what you have up your sleeve. Been there since the start, so excited to be surprised.
Thank you, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dom? Still not working. I'll invite Jono up, and then Dom, just check your settings real quick. See if you can fix that. Jono?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, thanks for having me.
I have the power to just straight.
This is a huge announcement. I'm not an owner of VeeFriends. I've been here since the beginning. I was just a little bit short in the beginning, so I didn't make the mint.
Yep.
But super stoked for this. I just have some questions about it.
Sure.
So one that was just recently when I was listening to the last person that was up, or two ago, was as you roll out these tickets, how will new buyers coming into VeeFriends, I guess, what will the timeline be if someone's trying to buy to get into VCon, but the tickets have already rolled out?
What do you mean?
So if I guess it's if you roll out the tickets a week early before VCon, and someone buys,
only the ticket NFT gets you into VCon.
yeah. So if that's rolled out 1 week before VCon, and someone is in the market for a VeeFriend,
yep.
How will that be made aware so they don't make that mistake to not make VCon, get access to VCon?
Yeah, we're gonna do a ton. We have a lot to like get tight on chain announcements in the tokens. But think about the psychology there. If you are 1 week away from VCon and you want to go, you absolutely at that point, after 100 days of comms from us and all the other things we decided to do on descriptions and OpenSea and metadata, are going to be aware that this NFT ticket exists.
Yes.
You're not gonna just sit delusional between now and May 16th and just show up.
And then the next one, this kind of curious, I know you say you're going to get big artists, big names on this. Is there going to be variations on the tickets kind of related to the characters, to the rarities, or is it kind of going to be maybe some small changes, like kind of like for the mini drops?
No, it could be a whole new design. Not going to look like your token.
No, yeah, but is it going to have anything related? So if you have a rare one or a very rare, will it be its different design depending on the token you had and the character, or is it going to be kind of just a straight one look for all the tokens?
I'm not sure, but I have incredible passion for it to have secondary value for my audience. So I doubt that I'm going to go with, it looks like a Super Bowl ticket, everyone looks the same.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I don't want to make any promises when I'm just not there yet.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you. And this is great. I see some people thinking again, when you make big announcements that they think it's in it for you, but I see the value you're adding to everyone that is supporting you.
What do you mean in it for me?
I see some comments. People were saying that there's going to be just another form of royalties. It's just going to be just for you, and that's why you're doing it. I think
people are very confused on how NFTs work. The number one thing every person on earth should do is try to buy projects where the person focuses on the royalties, not the upfront sales.
Mm-hmm.
People are incredibly not actual business people, which is why they make silly statements. The only projects I'm focused on does the person actually understand how NFTs work?
Yeah.
Of course you want that to happen. Like, I don't understand how, when there was no promise for what I'm doing with this, when you're getting an asset that's like, is someone really worried about they just got $4,000 for free, that if there's a royalty on that, that's silly.
Yeah, and I totally agree.
You're upset with free $3,600? Okay. I mean, like, look, people are gonna cry about everything. That's not something I can concern myself with, especially when that is uncomfortably not intellectually interesting or intelligent in any shape or form about human psychology or business works.
Yeah. No, yeah, I see the value you're adding, and thank you for doing that. You've said it, you've come through every time, and people are still going to doubt.
I prefer the doubt, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, I don't think the doubters are really funny. I actually think the number one way to destroy me is to not give me doubt. The doubt is my fuel.
Yeah, I can relate there, but it's a good
so
energy to bring to the table.
Thanks
for having me.
Take care.
Toro? Looks like their server muted. I can't, doesn't show. I'll invite up another person.
Hold on 1 second, Corso.
Yeah, no problem. Toro, yeah, Toro, I'm gonna move you down and see if I can fix this, and then I'll invite someone else up.
Okay. Of course.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me up. Really excited to be here.
Thank you.
First off, I just want to say thanks, Gary, for showing me NFTs, man. I mean, I'm still holding on to Perspective Pigeon Goo, man. It's been a ride to say the least, man. But I got to give my thanks to you, man. Because excuse me, without you, I would never have gotten into NFTs. But anyway, my question is, yeah, thanks, man. But my question is, at VeeCon, are you gonna have, like, this is just a selfish question, you're gonna have like a little booth for yourself, like where we can come and meet you, or
Yes.
you know, have a little time?
Yes. I'm very focused on having a kissing booth.
Yeah, dude, I was about to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, my main, I'm definitely gonna probably do selfie hours where it's like literally, because I know so many people want that, and I'm here to give it. Like, so they'll be like, sir, I'm gonna be there's so much leading up to this, but like they'll be like, look, here's your absolute chance, a guaranteed way to get it. Because I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be in it with everybody. But there will be dedicated times for things like that.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you again for everything. And just one quick little thing, man. I always thought that like the way you get up in life is to run everybody over, but you taught me so much differently than that, man. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one, guys. Thank you again.
Take care. Toro?
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
we can.
Okay. So I just want to jump in and thank you, Gary. I think what you just did is a no-brainer for holders like us. The value is just obvious. And I don't know, I wanted to ask you, in truth, why do you spend time answering to people that are not holders?
Because if I think VeeFriends is going to be the most successful and most important thing I've ever done in my life. But if I was going to turn VeeFriends into an economy that humans would not be able to interact with me as they have my whole life because they were not holders, it would be the biggest disaster of my life.
Well, you are too kind. You've always been. You are too kind. I don't think people that are not holders should be having an opinion on this, but I am a holder, and I think it's just awesome, and it's obvious. It's a no-brainer, and thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Alyssa's on stage. Alyssa.
Schmupper.
Oh, of course so. Hey, Gary, it's Schmooper Girl, Alyssa Jordan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So great to talk to you. Hey, Vagina's had an awesome opportunity to talk to Maha on Monday, or Wednesday, and it's super. Sorry, I just got off the treadmill. It's super clear that amplifying women's voices and marginalized voices in Web3 space is super important for so many of us this year, including you. I've seen the efforts you've made to do that too. What can we see? I see a lot of the speakers that have already been announced at VeeCon are already jiving with that. Is there anything more we can expect in that sort of landscape?
I think you'll see continued execution on diverse voices, and I'm proud of that. And but there's a lot we're still thinking through. We have plenty of time, but I'm not crippled by coming up with. Hello? Oh, I'm not crippled to come up with something like even more. You do the best you can. You do a lot of things, and the answer is probably. But I think the content and who got the platform to speak was very important to me. To your point, I think I've been incredibly thoughtful and aggressive in supporting those many projects and artists. I've done so many things none of you know about behind the scenes, financially and time and effort, and feeling pretty good of where I'm at with that. And maybe there will be some other things with VeeCon, but no, there's just still so much programming to be done, and so I'm not sure is the real answer.
Well, Vaginas, the three of us, Amanda DeGuardia, Sarah Jones, and I, are committed to getting really loud about amplifying these voices this year. So if you want some help, we're happy to help out. We're proud members of this community, and we believe in this community that you've built. You know, How to Julie Sue, VeeFriends, Family Tree. So many of us are just so grateful for the community you've helped us build, and we just want to keep helping out. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you.
Stretch. You're muted.
Kate, you're muted.
Kate, shoot your shot.
I'll invite up another.
Don't worry. Yeah, I'm in the chat, so I don't see what's going on.
How much time do you have?
Can end any second, but keep going.
Okay.
Nice, Gary. Wow. Crushing it. Crushing it.
Girl dad? Unmute and mute. We can't hear you. Think we can hear you now? Girl dad, you there?
Hello?
We can hear you now.
Hello? Hey, girl, dad.
Hey, how's it going?
That's going well. How are you?
Good. Actually on my way home and just happened to jump on this Discord and somehow I got chose to speak.
Well, you requested.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not a holder of VeeFriends. That's my biggest downfall. Hoping for an opportunity to get into it before VCon. I live in Iowa.
Too far.
So VCon will be held close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'm hoping to get an opportunity. I love what you're doing for
Thank
the
you
NFT
so
community.
much. Thank you, brother. Well, listen, VCon's gotten very expensive, right? You know, VeeFriends have gotten expensive. Were you aware of it when we minted?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was not.
So, you know, one of the nice things is there's somebody right now in Australia who can't come and is going to put their VCon NFT ticket up, and you have to assume that that's going to be less than buying a $40,000 or $50,000 VeeFriend. So the announcement today actually helped a lot of people in the community that want to get to VCon.
Correct. So what? Let's see. So VeeFriends 2, is that going to open up possibilities for other events?
Tell us about it.
No.
No.
Tell us
Oh,
more.
so I have to get in V1.
Follow up.
Yes, but the announcement today helped dramatically.
Right. Because that opens
So you can
up.
buy just the ticket, not the original V1 VeeFriend.
Oh, you can buy just the ticket. See, I didn't see that announcement. I jumped on this prior to
Today's
seeing the
announcement is the VCon tickets are now going to be NFTs, and obviously there'll be a secondary market for them.
Yeah. Hey, okay. So while I have you on, sorry to take up all your time. You gave my daughter some cards a couple years ago off of Twitter, and that was like, I'm so thankful for you doing that. She's into Pokemon now, and I'm hoping she can get into NFTs. But yeah, I wanted to thank you for that personally.
And kindness is the most underrated thing in our society.
Yeah. Hey, one last request.
Yes, sir.
My fiance, I preach you to her all the time. She is getting into the NFT stuff, and what do you think the chances of you following her on Twitter are?
What's her Twitter handle?
It's Tiffany _Nicole, NICHOLE. She would
Is it TIFFANY _?
Yes.
And
CHOLE.
Yes. Yes.
Tiffany Nicole. Tiffany, is it TIFFANY_?
Correct.
Girl Dad, you can send me a link to it and I'll send it to him.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I don't see it, brother. I don't know why it's not coming up, but
Okay.
underscore, you sure not dash or something?
You know what? I can't jump off my phone right now.
Is it not? It's not Tiff Nicole Blessings.
No.
Yeah, I don't see it, brother. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
man.
you can send
Stay
it to
well.
me.
All right, man. If you do that, I'd appreciate it because she'd
I will do
lose her
that.
mind. All right, man. I
It's
appreciate
done.
that. All right,
Got it.
thanks, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
All right, later.
Corso, what have you seen people? Because I'm about to bounce out. Like,
Sure.
anything that you've seen that I haven't addressed or?
Someone was curious how it shows on OpenSea and on the website that it says limited for like under cores. It says maybe not just cores, but under like the properties it says limited for the VCon. It says limited access or something like that. That's what I saw.
Meaning, will it? Are they asking how we're going to categorize it?
I think so. I think that's what I got out of it.
We'll have it all figured out, but I mean, it's all going to be fine. Look, here's what needs to be focused on. The way you were going to lease your tokens and all the things that everybody talked about. Here was the big announcement. For VCon 1, 2020, VCon 2, 2023, VCon 3, 2024 ticket to the conference is now going to be a legit fucking NFT. That's a big deal. And
Big deal.
people need to figure it out. Anyway, that's it. See ya. Love you. Bye.
Take care, Gary.
Nice. Stretch, take us away. Stretch, take us away. All right. Well, that was fun while it lasted. Oh, my camera went out. Sorry about that, folks. There you have it. I know we missed a bit. Joe Groovy wants to know if chain faces will be more in the future. Joe, I can't answer that question. I haven't the slightest idea. I mean, I hope so. Am I counting on it? Absolutely not. I mean, look at this. I'm glad I'm still alive. I'm doing all right here. I'm doing great, actually. You guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. However, the supply at the end of this thing is going to be some, over 10,000. They'll all have varying attributes and scars. I think that's cool. Nate did say they're going to do something for the Fallen to stick around, that they're not going to forget everyone. But this is like a self-contained experiment. I mean, if they have value in the future, it'll be collectible or a return to the contract, which they might do, but probably not for a while. So I don't know the answer. I assume no, and that way I can be happy if they are. That's my honest 2 cents. And that said, thank you so much for watching. Fantastic AMA with Mayra. A little surprise. VCon AMA. I didn't catch all the details. I don't know. It seemed that he said that the ticket would be dropped a week before VCon. I didn't hear him say that, but there was that was implied in someone else's question. Gary's very focused on having a kissing booth, selfie hours, etc. Your NFT, your access to VCon is now an NFT airdropped prior to the event for the next 3 years, and it will be a significant collectible. Probably not every single one the same, but not different based on rarity. So that will be interesting. And as overall advice, he said, try to buy projects where the person focuses on royalty, not the upfront cost, which I found interesting. So 2 cents there. Thanks for watching again. I got to run, but I love you and see you tomorrow.